I remember when I first started my business, and this is gonna apply to a lot of you, where you wanna get things going, you wanna get customers, and because you're not known in the area, because you're just getting started, no one really knows you, you don't have a reputation. So when someone comes along trying to hire you for your services, you're gonna take on the work, whether it's for a simple $15 wash to maybe it's kind of like a crappy customer, maybe it's a lot of work for not a lot of money. Because you're just getting started, you wanna be able to take on these jobs to get more customers, to make some money, and to just feel like you're in business. And because you have these things in your head, you're like, well, I have to be able to do something to be able to raise my prices or to get more customers. So that's when you start thinking externally, like, hey, maybe I need to get better tools and products, then I can raise my prices. Maybe I need to go and get certified in training, then I can raise my prices. Then you just start thinking of like these other things that aren't necessarily going to make an impact, but you feel like that's the way in order for you to actually raise your prices and perhaps even get more customers. So maybe you go and try to look more professional, and you get the better brands, and maybe you go get training somewhere, and now you feel better, you feel more professional, you feel like you can take on more work, but realistically nothing really changes. And you know why I know this? Because I went through the same thing. I went to go get trained, I had business shirts, I had business cards, I wrapped my car in my business information so I look more professional. So I went through all of that as well, and let me tell you, nothing really changes. So here we have a 2008 Dodge Charger just for a full interior cleaning. Gonna charge $200. The seats aren't that bad, door panels aren't that, really it's not that bad. It should take no more than like not that long and a half. And a while back, I asked a group of detailers why they can't raise their prices, and some of their hours, these were some of their responses. These are the direct responses that they gave me on the form. Were scared customers might think the prices are too high and they won't come in for a detail. Lack of confidence and fear of losing customers. Competition, there's too many detailers in my area. Clients are reluctant to pay more. Saturated market and cheaper competition. These were the exact reasons why detailers were giving me their reasons on why they can't raise their prices and why they keep on just charging the same amount over month after month, year after year. Now, you want to believe those excuses are true on why you can't raise your prices. But the thing, and by the way, my face is like really sweaty, so if I look ugly, just disregard, just close your eyes. Now, you want to believe those things are true, but the thing is, if you were booked out 2 weeks in advance with 2 cars on every day, would you still have those same assumptions or excuses about why you can't raise your prices? No, most likely not. Because why? Because you have the work. You can you'll try raising your prices. You'll still get customers. So everything you're saying right now is false. It's made up. And the reason why you want to believe it is because you can't do it yourself. And what that really means, when you can't raise your prices, when you're scared to raise your prices, when you're worried about, hey, if I raise my prices a little bit, this customer might not book with me, I might not get any more work. When that happens, that truly means you are not in control of your own business. You do not have the power to dictate where your business moves, because it's in the hands of the customer. It's like, okay, hopefully they'll pay that price. Hopefully they'll get a customer. When you're working with that type of mentality, it is very, very difficult to grow a business. Alright, so the first vehicle actually took a little longer than expected. It took almost, I think, just about 3 hours, so that's 6 man hours in total. I think the sun kind of got to us. We kind of started moving. You always start off rather quickly with the detail, and then as the time progresses, so does your motivation. So your motivation or energy starts to decline. So now we're going to the second vehicle. Just stopped by for a quick lunch. So now we're gonna go to the second location. A 2008-6 minivan. The interior is pretty, it's decently bad. It's not overly crazy, but it does need a little bit of work. Pet hair, stain removal on just about all the floor mats. The seats actually aren't that bad. So it's gonna take some time just because it's a bigger vehicle. But in terms of like the actual condition, it's not all that bad. Want to be able to raise your prices or do what you want within your business and have more control of it over it really comes down to this. And once I really understood it and really like took it in and really got it in my noggin, it really changed the perception of what I had to do in order to be successful. And the thing you have to do is you have to focus on generating a consistent flow of qualified leads on a daily basis. That whole sentence right there will change your business because you'll be able to focus on the right things. You have to generate a consistent flow of qualified leads. And a very, very important part is on a daily basis, meaning every day you need to have someone reaching out to you for your services. It doesn't really work as well if every other day one person is reaching out to you. If every other day one person is reaching out to you. Imagine a business that gets 5 calls per week from potential customers, right? Just that's gonna be 5, 10, 15. That's gonna be 20 calls in 1 month. Okay. Now imagine another business that gets 5. I'm just making a number here. Let's say another business gets 5 calls every day, the whole month. So one business gets 20 calls per month. The other business gets 20 to 25 calls per week. So you see the big difference between the business that gets more calls on a daily basis is able to do a lot more. They're able to raise their prices, book more customers, and just test a lot of things because they have the volume. They're not as worried of like, oh, like we really have to get this one customer because if we don't, we won't get another call until 2-3 days from now. Whereas if you have all those leads, if you know you're gonna get 5 calls every day, then if a customer calls you and says like, oh, like you can just tell they don't really want quality, they just want it for like a cheap price, or they want like a big deal, like can you just like give me a big discount, or whatever the case may be, it's much easier to let that customer go or to not be so just not book in that customer because it's okay if they leave. Like you have plenty of other customers in the pipeline, many of them that are very happy to pay your full prices for your services. So you're not really worried about if one customer walks away. And this isn't to say like, oh, you're just disregarding customers that don't pay your prices. No, trust me, there are good customers and bad customers. There's your ideal customers and customers that are just gonna give you headaches. It goes that for every single business. All right, please disregard how bad I look, but like, look how, I don't know if you can tell. Where's the sun at? But this is like all just straight nasty sweat right here. So I couldn't record because it's like 95 degrees right now. As soon as the camera starts recording for 5 minutes, it's overheating, so I can't really film anything right now. And this goes back to my other point where you're gonna start doing things to try to change that, but ultimately you have to focus on generating those leads, because doing all those other things like looking more professional, getting certified isn't going to do much. I was talking to I was on Jason's podcast, The Business of Detailing, and we were talking about this exact topic of like volume and getting leads. And like I was mentioning, or we were talking about that, like, hey, like if you can create a sales process, if you have templates, like this all helps in order to like book the customer in faster and easier. But the problem is like nothing changes if you don't have volume. You can like get a perfect sales process, sales script or whatever, but if you don't have the volume, it doesn't matter how good of a detailer you are, how good of a salesperson you are, because you don't have the volume. So like for me, I would choose to have more qualified leads into my business than being a good salesperson, because like you could be the best salesperson, like know exactly what to say, but if you only have one person contacting you every other day, your opportunities are still very limited. Whereas if you just have a bunch of leads, you could be not trashy salesperson, but you're not the most
you don't really like selling or talking to people on the phone, you're still gonna get way more customers because you have a high amount of leads. Now, in an ideal situation, you need both. You want the leads and you want to have a good sales process. That's like the winning combination, and that's exactly where you want to get to eventually. But if I had to choose one or the other, I would put a heavier emphasis on the volume, not so much the sales skills. Because I'm telling you, for me, I do not consider myself a salesperson. I do not do any selling. I'm more of an order taker and not a salesperson, meaning I get phone calls, I get questions, I need to provide information, but I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm not trying to convince you or persuade you why you should hire me. That's why I have so many other things in place, like the 50 plus 5-star reviews, the testimonials on my website, the content. I have everything else in place to do the selling for me. So by the time they get to me, they're ready to book in. They just have a few questions that they need answered. So how do you actually achieve that goal? Okay, you have search engine optimization, Instagram ads, Facebook ads. You have so many channels that you can focus on. Which one is the best? It's whichever one you commit and dedicate your time and energy to really understanding and implementing to get the results that you want. If you spend 2 weeks on Facebook, then 2 weeks on Instagram, then 1 week on running Facebook ads, then 2 weeks on search engine optimization, you're not gonna get the results that you want. So you have to be able, regardless of what channel it is, you have to focus on one thing and do it to the best of your ability. And for those interested in learning how to use search engine optimization, that's how I built my business and generate all my leads. Then on August 14th, I will be opening up enrollment into SEO for Detailers. It's my online marketing course that teaches you exactly how to rank your website on the first page of Google to generate leads and sales in your area. So just check the description box down below, or there'll be a link somewhere to get on the waiting list, but I'll be announcing it on YouTube, Instagram, and my email list. August 14th, the course opens up. And here's another important thing to know is that right now you guys are like, okay, Oscar, we get it. Marketing, search engine optimization, Facebook ads. Yeah, but how do we actually do it? Okay, so I'm giving you the more strategic, big picture of what you're supposed to do, right? Don't get too caught up on the me telling you the technical, okay, go here and click this button. You go here and move this around. You don't need to focus on that. I'm giving you the big picture of hey, look, focus on marketing. Hey, look, these are the channels. Hey, look, focus on getting daily leads, get qualified leads on a daily basis. That is big picture, I don't know why I can't say picture, big picture strategic thinking. It's up to you and your commitment and your self, what's the word I'm looking for? To go and actually learn how to do it. Okay, go to YouTube, go to Google, type in how do I rank my website on the first page of Google, how to do local SEO, how to run Facebook ads, how to post on Instagram, how to grow your Instagram account. Don't wait for me to tell you every single last thing. I have spent countless hours on blog posts, YouTube videos, buying courses, coaches. I've done everything because I wanted to learn the right way to do things. So to me, my answer is hey, so how do we get started on that? You start researching, you start building up that knowledge base in your head, you start implementing what you actually read. Now, shameless plug, if you want me to tell you what to do, my course, SEO for Detailers, August 14th is opening up, but that's aside from the point. All right, so we're gonna wrap up the video here. I think I am gonna make a separate video on the vehicle, the van that we did, because I just feel like we did a lot of things differently than we normally do, and it paid off for us, meaning we finished it in a pretty decent time. So I think I will do a video. I didn't film much, but I will talk you through the detail. Because again, usually we do XYZ, and this time we did H, B, O, X to complete the detail. But it worked out great, so I'll probably do another video covering that aspect of it. Now, other than that, you can follow me on Instagram. Check the links down below for the waiting list to SEO for Detailers, or if you want to download the ultimate guide to start your detailing business. That'll be all in the description box or in the comment section. Other than that, let me know what you're thinking about these videos. I'm liking the format. I'm having more fun with it, which is the important part. I was kind of getting bored with talking to the camera. So let me know if you're really enjoying these infusing you into the day, plus giving you business tips. Okay, I'm gonna go squat now. So talk to you later.